So you could basically have the Hummingbird equipped with that ARGUS IS sensor flying at an altitude of 10,000 feet or more. And then they mentioned in that video that that ARGUS IS system could also be equipped to MQ9 Predator drone. So the Predator drone is the weaponized version of the Guardian. If you go back to like George W. Bush's second term in office, throughout Obama's term, still to today, all the drone strikes that are happening, overseas or happened over in the Middle East were pretty much the MQ9 Predator drone, and then the Coast Guard and our Border Patrol, they actually use the Guardian, the non-weaponized version, for again, Border Patrol, Coast Guard sort of surveillance. So if you were to use both of these in tandem with this ARGUS IS system, you could have, let's say, after a hurricane like Hurricane Harvey comes through, that was the big one that happened in Houston, and there was first responders that were getting out of their boats, going to save people, stranded on their rooftops or wherever, and they were actually dying because they would get out of their boats into the water where there's still live electricity, live electricity wires in the water, right? So you could, with this sort of system, be able to automatically set pins on the map and hey, within this radius, if you're a first responder or someone stranded on the rooftop that can receive this message, don't get out, stay put, don't get into the water until the all clear signal has been sent, right? And of course that could be done and is done via manpower right now. Oh my God, speakers, look at that. Someone was listening. Then that would cue in the next level. So if you have the high altitude drone that's flying at 10,000 feet or more with this ARGUS IS system, that's detecting the hardest hit areas of the hurricane, right? And then that drone in the same network as these Guardian drones flying at an altitude of, let's say, 1,000 to 5,000 feet, also with still very high resolution sensing capabilities. They are then deployed to those hardest hit areas to try to detect people that are stranded that, again, need communication established with them, food, water, medical supplies, and then using a fleet, again, this is from 2016, the best drones that were really available for this sort of purpose at the time were the very early versions of the Amazon Prime Air delivery drone, and then another delivery drone company, Matternet, they had their first delivery drone called the Matternet 1. So again, the high altitude drone trying to detect the hardest hit areas, the mid altitude drones then going to those hardest hit areas to detect people, and then those mid altitude drones are alerting the smaller delivery drones where those people are, automatically deployed to that location with the food, water, medical supplies that they need. And then of course, full circle, if the person needs extracted, actually send in a larger drone like the Hummingbird to actually pick up the person. Because in my head, even though this was the only area that the professor was hey, this is totally unrealistic, never gonna happen, where now we already have passenger drones over in China that you as a tourist can get in, travel across the city, and while that's kind of far-fetched, here in the United States, it's not because it's not possible, it's just we're behind as a country, from the industrial perspective to be able to produce that technology at any sort of meaningful scale. But you could use a drone of that size, right? Instead of risking a helicopter and a helicopter pilot to go save a person, why risk two people to go save one when you could just, risk the one person whose life you're trying to save?